So how many of you have meditated before? Or most of you? Yeah, so that's why you're here. So this activity of stopping and reflecting is a kind of part of the human journey, right? Is evolution of our species. We've come to a point now where we're kind of conscious, Homo conscious, Homo sapien now. We're kind of aware of our situation. And so we're very blessed to have the opportunity to kind of stop and look at ourselves and reflect and look at our situation. So hopefully this week, stuff will come up, things will be revealed, and you'll have some insights. That's what's wonderful about being human, that you're going to have some moments of, aha, okay. So that's our hope for people in a society. Finding relief is one thing, finding de-stressing is one thing, finding calm and peace is nice too, but the best is when you realize something, you have insight. Yeah, so it's not just to try to stay calm and peaceful, because sometimes it won't be like that. In fact, it won't be like that forever. But the thing that is most rewarding and doesn't leave you is when you have an insight about yourself and about your journey. So that's what we do here in the monastery. A place for us to understand our situation, our lives, our relationship, ourselves, as well as what's happening with the world, and so on, our relationships. So that's just a little kind of sharing about what we do here. And my brother and I, we do it full time. So we're like professional basketball players. You guys are visiting and you're learning the game. But we do this as our lives, and we're not better than you. It's just we've just done it a little bit longer. So let's sit comfortably. We'll listen to the sound of the bell. Just take a moment. We've been on the road, we've been on the plane, and now we're sitting, and just take a moment and do a check-in. My brother invite 3 sounds of the bell, and you'll hear a lot of this. And every time you hear the sound of the bell, it's just to check in. It's just to stop and check in. And one bodily sensation that you can immediately return to is our breath. So right away you check in with this in-breath and this out-breath. So you check in the quality of that breath. Then you check in with your body. The breath helps us bring awareness back to our body. So every time you hear a bell or the clock chiming in the dining hall, or on your own even, remember is to stop and just check in with our breath, with our body. And if you stay long enough, you can check in with your feelings, the sensation of your mind. How do you feel? You feel anxious, feel a little anxiety, you feel calm. So we train to get used to that. So you're weak here, you should try to have more time of this checking in. So my brother invite the bell, and when you hear the bell, let the reverberation connect with that reverberation. So we can close our eyes, and each one of us, we have an energy. We also have a rhythm from our bodily function, our heart especially. So we also have a rhythm, and our breath is a rhythm. So when you hear the sound of the bell, think of synchronizing. Okay? So our body sometimes has tension. So with each in and out breath, we synchronize. And the out breath, you let go. Out breath, you relax, let go. So your body can help guide your mind. For more at ease in your body. And with each sound, my brother will invite 3 sounds. With each sound, the checking in, you can feel the quality of our breath, the quality of our bodily presence, embodying, as well as our awareness of feeling, sensation, and just recognize it, whatever that is. So bring in, I enjoy my in-breath. Breathing out, I enjoy my out-breath. We can open our eyes. Just to check out there. Did anybody have a aha moment? You recognize something? You can share it? Did you notice anything?
I noticed my feeling, sort of anxiety and tension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where was it around? Or?
Heart and up to my shoulders.
Ah, wonderful. That's great. That's okay. Why am I holding this fist? Anyone else recognize anything? Yeah, you recognize something?
Just a situation that I can't control it.
Ah, wonderful. Yeah, feeling, is it let it be? Let it be. Thank you for practicing. So that's basically what we do here in the monastery, is to stop and learn to check in with ourselves. Society and the way it's structured out there, it's not very conducive to moments like that. So it's not very productive. So you come to the monastery, you become less productive and more, I don't know what's the inverse of productive, but is to come back and stop and take care of ourselves and recognize the wonderful things that are happening as well. So in our practice is to have pain, to have suffering, to have stress, to be overloaded, to be burnt out, that happens, and to all of us, even to us in the monastery. But because we have community and we know how to practice, then we can also recognize there are beautiful things happening as well, and they can coexist. So you don't have to heal or have less suffering and then all of it gone in order for you to enjoy being alive, enjoy being whatever you're having. So that's the practice. Eventually you'll see that things are always dynamic, moving, and we become more resilient, more able to hold it. So that's a quality that we have when we become more stable. I call it being solid, like a mountain. So a practitioner, one who learns to stop and come back with themselves, they become at ease with who they are. So they're not disturbed by when challenges happen to them or when things don't go the way it does within their family, within themselves, expectation in society. the way we react, our attitude, much more solid, much more stable. And the more we give time to recognize the impermanence, the changes, and the challenges that the human drama of being alive is there. It's part of it. So this is a way of meditation, and this practice here of stopping, of mindfulness, helps us become more resilient. We're not disturbed. We're more stable, more solid. So that's a quality that we can develop, actually. So in meditation, in recognizing our breath, our mere in and out, we train ourselves to be in constant awareness that things are always shifting. You see the advantage why we're professional basketball players, and then people outside don't train like that. They think everything is permanent and things don't change. My loved one, why are you different today? How come you're so different? You're not the same person I met before. I'm like, what happened? You're not the same person as 20 years ago. So we all, the habit, things are like that. Just because we don't have time to really reflect on the nature of things. And our breath, moment to moment, one feeling you have now is not there anymore. Just because you pay attention to other things. So this is what we train in, to direct our attention and pay attention to things. And to also, hopefully your week here, you find time to pay attention to what is going well. There's a lot of news now, a lot of media about everything going wrong. And as a human species, as a aware mind, I don't think we're meant to be aware. And especially now with the internet, our mind is not supposed to be aware of so many things that are going wrong. It's just like, it's like, every day, morning, afternoon. Who listens to NPR here? Yeah? Oh gosh. I had that habit. Every time I drive to work in the morning, drive in the afternoon, it's the same news. Do you remember that? And it's constantly, and then, you basically feeding yourself like this energy, this attention to what is going wrong. So our week here is to refortify ourselves with freshness. So the flower in us, we have a mountain, but we also have a flower, right? So freshness. So wake up, have a fresh thought. Our habit of grumpy and slamming the alarm is because, we have to work 9 to 5 on a job that is tough, but we still have to do it. But we don't allow that kind of attitude to overwhelm us. So we train to have, fresh thoughts. And as a young monk, a novice monk, we learned these poems, when you open the door, when you get off the bed, our first gatha, we learn 4-line poems that help guide our mind to think fresh thoughts, wholesome thoughts, nourishing thoughts, joyful, miraculous thoughts. Waking up this morning, I smile. I have 24 brand new hours before me, and I will enjoy it. Yeah, something like that, right? So you actually repeat that right when you wake up. This is the training. I used to hang a leaf over my bed just to remember to do that. And there's one for stepping. Today I will step, and if I inadvertently step on a bug, may it be born in a place of peace. And so you raise compassion that today I will walk and I will create less suffering. When you open the window, there's another gatha. When you turn on the water, so it's to retrain our mind to recognize. It's like, wow, it's a gift to be born. Our parents gave us this life. And eventually we have to return it back to the earth where we all came from, right? Mother Earth gave birth to us. And this awareness that you're listening to me, you understand what I'm going on, you have memories, things, it's like amazing. Like, as a human being, like you understand, and I'm transmitting ideas, and you're processing it, and you're like, whatever, you're like, you're having your own conscious thought. That's Homo sapien, right? Our ability to like, wow, not only did we straighten our back and walk straight and feel a little proud that we're better than the apes, maybe too proud. Now we can destroy everything. But hopefully we become more conscious, meaning we also know what's right and wrong, and what is helpful and not helpful, and what is more suffering and less suffering. Hopefully that's where we're evolving. It seems like we are, and we're being made to evolve that way in the last year or two. And this is a part of our evolution, to not see ourselves separate. So freshness, okay? Waking up and then create that habit. So mountain, so these are habits that we train in, besides sitting still, touching peace, feeling calm, these kind of typical things that we normally associate with meditation. But those things are also impermanent and can create a lot of suffering if you strive just for that. So this is something you have to be careful about. There's a lot of bad rap about meditation. It's because people are seeing it as a technique to de-stress, to find peace, to find happiness. So it becomes like a tool, like to how to do a startup. It's like, this is how you get to peace. And it doesn't work like that. And so here, the way we approach meditation is a whole way of being, a way of life. So that happens right when you wake up. So it's not in the meditation hall, but it's an attitude, it's a whole way of looking at our place as a human being. So it's a little more broad than just the human drama, like when things don't go our way, right? So that's why kind of meditation fails, because it's like in the box of using it to get something. And we're in the Zen tradition, and we say, if you got it, you got to let it go. It's terrible. Like, you get it, you find peace, and then you have to let it go. It's like, come on. Zen tradition is like that. As soon as you get it, the saying, you find the Buddha, chop the head off. That's the tradition of Zen. And it means, even the object of peace and happiness and peace and calmness and transformation, healing, all that, if you make that an object to grasp, then you would just become, you're applying the same thing, the habit, outside to meditation. So freshness, mountain, qualities of how you move through the day, okay? And then another quality that pay attention to is our little freedom, our little lightness. Okay, are we free? So these are things we can recognize. And then the fourth one is a kind of clarity. These are qualities that we begin to train and cultivate as a meditator, as a basketball players dribble, shoot. They train in that, and how many times they do it? Like millions of times, right? And here we train to be a mountain. That means we don't get moved by our emotions and our past and so on. We recognize, we hold, We become more resilient. We're not afraid of suffering. We're not afraid of uneasiness. We're not afraid of someone irritating us. Boy, I wish he can be a little bit more, less, less talkative. You recognize, okay. So you become resilient to your own kind of judgment. You understand? That's resilience. So you don't try to get rid of it, but you kind of befriend it, and it can actually be the condition to have the, that's why I keep thinking like that. That's my mom. I can see it now, or like, that's why I always want to jump in to be the first one to share. Because in my family, no one listens to me. You have insight like that. It's the goal of why we do all of this. And when you have that insight, nobody can take it away from you. And that is a real spiritual happiness. That's what outside they don't teach, and they don't have places to train and that. And so this kind of these things that we train in, to be a mountain, to be fresh, right? And these things have to be trained. It's not the training that we got in the last 30, 40, 50, 60 years is in our family, in society, is kind of like a little bit imbalanced, or kind of I became very selfish through my education and professional life. Watching their budget, my budget, our project, and so you get trained very differently. And so we get kind of depleted, our spiritual, our wholeness, our kindness. And clarity, seeing things and the nature of things. So when we come here, we get to look at it. And to hopefully these other, being resilient, stopping, having freshness and mountain, it kind of goes together, that you begin to see clearly things more clearly. Meaning you recognize what's going on. Okay, this is craving. Cool, I like it. I'm taking more than I need. That's insight, Or like, this is avoidance. Okay, this is judgment. So you begin to know how to call things out as it is. That is freedom. We don't delude ourselves and say, I'm a nice person, but actually you're very selfish. You're like, whoa, actually I'm just kind of greedy because I want to be the nice person, the nicest person in the room. And you call it out. You're like, that's greed, actually. That's not nice. So anyway, these are all my experience, right? So, you find your own thing, but I had many realizations about myself, and it just makes me happy. It's not like I become a better person. It's just now I kind of like know, okay, I do that. And then you become hopefully more humorous about it. And that's where the resilience comes in. You don't judge yourself. You don't beat yourself up. Well, at first I beat myself up. I tried real hard. And then I suffered really bad, dug a hole, and then eventually had to climb out. So I'll tell you, it's not always nice and dandy like this. It's progress, and there's regress, and then you go again. So I don't want to promise you anything, because it doesn't work like that. Each one of us will need to go through our ups and downs. I hope that's it's kind of like a disclaimer, right? So don't blame us, don't blame me. If you hit it this week, you're supposed to hit it. And it's great to hit it while you're in a monastery, because, it's a good place to find out something about yourself that's hard. And I have to be honest that I was so glad to be in community, when, I hit my kind of like wall. Yeah, when you realize a lot of things all together. So here we learn how to, transform suffering, pain, whatever, trauma, the different words for suffering, into lotuses, or to recognize how they need each other. So we're not afraid of suffering, not afraid of irritation, not afraid of judgment, not afraid of self-sabotage, all of this stuff we call mud. The attitude is not to get rid of it. The attitude is to understand it and why it is like that, the cause. You see? So that then you become kind of like, not free from it, but you kind of like, you found out the joker. Like, I know you've been hiding out. And then you become friend with it. And then you learn to have tea with it. And then it doesn't bother you anymore. So it's not to get rid of it, to push it down, repress it and all that, but to learn to befriend, or like our teacher would say, to cuddle it, to learn and understand why the baby cries and keeps asking for attention. And when we're solid enough, we're fresh enough, we have clear mind, we're free from being like dominated by it, then that's an opportunity to understand. So that's the basic training we do here. And it's not easy. Things will come up because, we have to give ourselves some time. There's 30, 40, 50 years of training differently from our parents, from our siblings, from our society, from our education. So give yourself at least 50 years. Yeah, come on. It's like, but it is all possible. If anything, it requires some effort, some training, some patience, some time. So that's something, and I hate to say this because, it makes us want to like, to achieve something. And so that's where it's like, there is a practice, there is a way of being in the day that contributes to it, day by day. So it's not like we don't create an agenda and then, okay, after 3 months you get this, a year you get that. So our practice is very organic. And sometimes you get, kind of surprises, which is wonderful. Those who are not used to this gesture is like a lotus, right? And it's a way we express our gratitude to each other, and we can also greet each other in this way. We bow to each other like that. In our mind, we think fresh thought is a lotus for you, a beautiful person you are. So that's the way we greet each other in the monastery. Or that the Buddha nature in you is alive, kind of look in their eye. And so you recognize and you see, like, they're a miracle. Like, you make eye contact, that's a very human quality. It's like, wow, you have that awareness. It's amazing, huh? It's like, you look at an animal too, they have it, yeah? And so that's the Buddha nature. Like, wow. All of a sudden, there's a lot of communication, eye contact. So much that sometimes it's scary. Like, wow. But isn't that amazing? That's a real miracle. So we bow like that. And so we do the same with this gesture when we stand up. After every activity, we bow to each other to express that quality that we all have and share. So we pay gratitude to that. And then we turn to the altar, which represents all of our teachers, our ancestral teachers, all the beautiful people who developed and kind of like honed this tradition basically all the humans before who are doing this, raising awareness, and then now it's come to us and we're learning it. So it's a gratitude to all the teachers who come before us. So that's what that gesture is about. So these are small sounds of the bell that help us stand up. And we stand behind our cushion. It's also to pay gratitude to the cushion and the mat for somewhat making it a little softer for our knees and our feet, right? And the cushion helping us sit. And this cushion has helped many people have aha moments. So even material things, you learn to respect. It's like, why do you bow to a cushion? It's like, that cushion right there, someone sat there and cried for the first time. So the cushion, we also pay gratitude. And everything, you can bow to the tree, you can bow to the sky. So it's a kind of like helping us be relating to material things. We bow to our food. Some people can bow to the sanitation machine. I've seen somebody do that before they turned it on. They're like, and I was like, whoa, I almost like opened my mouth and was like, why did you bow to the machine? But then I stopped and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Anyway, just these are some of the etiquette or culture of the monastery. Yeah. Have a good rest. Maybe we can all help bring the mats and cushion back. Yeah?